Hey everybody, welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football, the show with powerful picks, sexy super fans, and it's really fun. I am your host, 20-year fantasy veteran, Greg Reifsteck. Who's missing this week? Of course, the beauty, Jenilee 10-year fantasy veteran, is not here in Vegas with me. She is back in Los Angeles. And of course, together we are the beauty and the beast of fantasy football experts. So I'm out here in Vegas, and I'm having a blast, and I'm watching a lot of football. Watching football in Vegas is like watching theater on Broadway. It is like watching a concert at the Hollywood Bowl. It's amazing. You have people that are rooting for every single team, and they're going crazy, and they're drunk, and they're just having a blast. I got to watch a lot of games. I unfortunately missed most of the Bears game. I think I caught like maybe the last 3 minutes of the Bears game here at the Flamingo where I'm staying. Not bad of a view. Can't complain. But so this week basically we're going to have, of course, some Vegas footage from me watching the games. We'll have Beast Mode with me here in Vegas. We will have Jenilee's Real Men back in Los Angeles, and also in our fan segment, the Tinhorn. Jenilee's mother came to town she's of course a huge Bears fan and got to watch the Bears at the Tinhorn as she's done a few other times before, and I'm sure had a total and complete blast. I haven't gotten to see the footage because I'm still here in Vegas, but I can't wait to see it. So let's get down to the Bears. Fantasy-wise, it was about it was okay. I mean, if you had Cutler like I did, you got burned. If you had McCown in against the Bears defense, you did okay. The Bears defense actually stepped up, and the Bears actually won the game 21-13 against the Buccaneers. Of course, this was the Lovie Bowl, and sorry, Lovie, not welcome back to Chicago. We needed the victory. We need to win out the season, of course. And the Bears fans still are being lethargic at the stadium. 6,000 no-shows this week. You could roll a bowling ball through the Tinhorn Flats in Burbank. It was just weird. Let's get down to fantasy stats. 341 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks for Josh McCown. Vincent Jackson, 5 receptions for 117 yards. Mike Evans, my pick from last week. You're welcome. Did good for you, 47 yards. I know that's weak, but got you that touchdown. And, of course, your receiver gets a touchdown. You're at least guaranteed some double digits, and will help you out in your scoring. Let's get to the Bears. Jay Cutler, abysmal. Unacceptable. We keep saying it, Jay. Unacceptable. 130 yards and a touchdown. I need a lot more out of my fantasy quarterback. I think I'm going to... And Mark Sanchez, I thought he would be burning it up. He's sitting on my bench, and he wasn't getting a lot of points either because LaShawn McCoy was burning it up in the Eagles game. So I got kind of screwed there. But Matt Forte, of course, has been beasting out this season. 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's where the Bears' touchdowns came from. Also, Alshon Jeffrey got a touchdown and 3 receptions for 22 yards. Brandon Marshall did not do well, did not get you a lot of fantasy points. So there's the Bears. Got to see a lot. So I got to catch the end of the Bears game, and then I went to this place, Chuck and Charlie's, and got to, here at the Flamingo, got to watch the nail-biting game, the Dolphins and the Broncos. This was a really, really, really fun game. It was a seesaw battle back and forth. And the Broncos looked like they had it guaranteed. I know in garbage time, Miami kind of pushed it up at the end. Final score 39-36. But again, tons and tons of Broncos fans here, and tons of people that just wanted the Broncos to lose because they had bets on the game. That's what you get here in Vegas. So Tannehill, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tannehill is, I think, the 3rd ranked fantasy quarterback right now, unbelievably, beating out the usual, Staffords and Brady's that are usually up there in the mix. So good job, Tannehill. Peyton Manning, 257 yards, 4 touchdowns. Yes, a lot of people got Manninged this week again, but what can you do? Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning. That's why we have a Balls profile up on our YouTube page, youtube.com/BigBallsFootball. That's where you're watching us, of course. Go to our other social media while I'm talking about it. BigBallsFantasyFootball.com. That's our hub where you can get linked up and watch our old videos, watch our new videos every week. That'll take you to the YouTube page, or it'll also take you to our Twitter at BigBallsFBall. It'll also take you to all of our other social media. I don't want to get into our Tumblr and our Pinterest and all of that stuff. Of course, you can also go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/BigBallsFantasyFootball. So another pick for you last week, getting back to Denver, C.J. Anderson, 167 yards and a touchdown. You're welcome, everybody. Another beast mode pick that went off for you. This week I'm going to give you some more picks, a lot of picks that are unexpected, high-risk picks, but you got to pick them up now before everybody gets them before the playoffs. You know, there's always potential for injury in your players. There's always potential problems that can happen on your team. So you want to get these players in there. Demaryius Thomas got 3 touchdowns in that one too. Here's the shocker this week, and one of my picks is going to be from the Patriots in beast mode. Patriots shocked everybody by taking down the Lions pretty handily, pretty bad, 34-9. Detroit, of course, has the #1 defense. Might not be the #1 defense after this game. They just got railed. Another game that was fun to watch: Seahawks over Arizona. The big Arizona defense, 19-3. Not too much of a shock there because it did take place up in Seattle, but still, Arizona. I just think they're still they're having that problem at quarterback, so it's not going to be as easy for them to win games. You're not going to get those Fitzgerald fantasy points easily either. And then the night game. The night game was the New York Giants versus the Cowboys, and I was watching this at the Hard Rock Hotel before I got to go see Andrew Dice Clay. You'll see the footage later, but damn good game. Lots of people, lots of Cowboys fans over there at the Hard Rock Hotel, really going crazy and loving the fact that Des Bryant is finally putting up some points. He's had some sluggish weeks fantasy-wise. Of course, the big story out of that game, Odell Beckham Jr. and that crazy circus catch with the one arm. I thought Brandon Marshall's catch was impressive earlier this season. My God, Beckham, wow. That was just insane. Everybody kept writing "insane" in capital letters on the Facebook pages, and just Beckham. Damn, I gave him to you as a pick a few weeks ago, and you should have picked him up because he 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that crazy catch. You can't beat that. So. That was Vegas. Of course, we're coming up on Thanksgiving. 3 big games coming up on Thanksgiving. Our Bears are going to be playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Actually, no, sorry. We're going to be playing the Lions on Thanksgiving. So, and then we get Dallas. So, wonderful. I believe we have the super early game coming up. So, that'll be a fun matchup. Also, all the other happy Thanksgiving from Big Balls Fantasy Football to everybody. Enjoy your football day, and let's get on with the show. Damn it, enough of my yakking, and let's get to Jenilee's Real Men picks for Week 13.
I need a real man. Have you seen him? Hi everyone, this is Jenilee with my Real Men segment, and we are in 13. It is coming down to the wire. For a lot of you, this might be the last week that you need a win to make it into the playoffs. Some of you have 2 more weeks, but it is still coming down to that time that you're going to have to win your matchups in order to get in the playoffs. So let's get right into it. As you can see, Greg and I are doing a little bit different show because he was out of town this week. I have some footage later in the show with a special guest that I had with me at Tinhorn. Tinhorn's been very, very dead because the Bears have been doing so bad this season, but we are giving you guys a different show this week. So let's get right into it. My first pick this week is wide receiver Keenan Allen of the Chargers, and he is a 2.5 on the ball scale. Now, the reason he's a 2.5 on the ball scale is because he has been inconsistent. A lot of you took him pretty early in your drafts. I know I did, and he has been a big disappointment this season because he hasn't done what he did last season. He's been having that sophomore slump, unfortunately. He only has 2 touchdowns on the season this far. But I am picking him in my picks for this week because 3 out of the last 4 weeks, he has given you a lot better numbers. It does seem like Phillip Rivers is looking his way more often. In week 8, he went 9 for 73 yards and a touchdown. In week 9, he slumped. He only had 4 for 47 yards. Then in week 10, they were on their bye. But week 11, he went 8 for 63 yards, and week 12, he went 6 for 104 yards and a touchdown. So if you're in a PPR league, he's definitely being targeted more, and it looks like he's catching a lot more balls. You're getting more points from him now than you were earlier in the season, which is great. Now, they play the Ravens defense, and the Ravens defense is very tough against the run. They're 5th against the run, but they are only 29th versus the pass. Drew Brees just threw for over 400 yards on this Ravens secondary in Monday Night Football. So even though they're stopping the run, and I think the Chargers are going to have a hard time running the ball, the pass has been pretty wide open, and I think Phillip Rivers is going to be able to get it down the field. And this is an important game for both sides. Both teams are 7-4. They are both in very tough divisions. And so this is an important one for the Chargers to win on the road. Also important for the Ravens to try to get a home win. But I think this one should be a good game, should be close, maybe a shootout. But get Keenan Allen in your lineup this week. Now my second pick is running back Le'Veon Bell. And he is a 1 on the ball scale because he has had a magnificent season this far, especially if you are in PPR leagues. He has been getting it done for you. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He has 951 rushing yards on the season this far with 2 rushing touchdowns, and he's added another 484 receiving yards with 2 receiving touchdowns. So again, if you are in a PPR league, he's absolutely been getting it done for you. Now, they dropped LeGarrette Blount, obviously, last week. Blount was no longer with them. He was back on the Patriots. So that means Bell is going to be getting even more touches than he was, and he was already getting a lot of touches to begin with. I think in this game he could be on the field for about 30 touches possibly. They're going to have to use him. He's going to be the guy over there. He pretty much has been all season anyways. And they're playing the Saints. The Saints are giving up an average of 109 rushing yards and 47 receiving yards to running backs each game. Obviously, they use Bell in the receiving game as well as running him out of the backfield. So this is a game that, again, he's going to get those touches. He's going to get you a lot of points, and he's going against the Saints defense that's not very good against the run. And the Steelers are coming off of their bye week, which I always like playing players coming off their bye week because they're a little bit more rested. At this point in the NFL season, all the players are a little sore, have these nicks and bruises going on, but hopefully he will be absolutely 100%, a little bit more rested coming off of this bye week, and he should continue to get you those points that he has been all season long thus far. So absolutely be sure to play him. And my third one this week is actually a don't start for you. Do not start quarterback Jay Cutler. Now, I know in deeper leagues, he was picked up. He was getting very good fantasy points for all of you towards the beginning of the season. He's been slumping a little bit. He had a good game against the Vikings. And I know some of you are thinking, well, you know, I might just have to play him. But this is not the week you want to play him because of his matchup. The offense has been struggling. Chicago's offense is only averaging 21.5 points per game. Last year, they averaged 28 points per game, so they have not gotten back up to that mark yet. Against the Vikings 2 weeks ago, they looked pretty good. They were moving the ball. Everyone had really good numbers on offense. But against Tampa Bay last week, they did not look good at all. They really, really struggled. Our defense carried us in that game. And they just went on the field and they just didn't look like they had any energy. It was so disappointing to see this offense with all these weapons not have energy and not go out there and be putting points up on the board. The defense had energy, but this offense did not. He has already thrown 12 interceptions and he has 6 lost fumbles. That is a total of 18 turnovers this season. That's another reason why the Bears offense isn't doing very good is Cutler keeps turning over the ball. So that obviously hurts you in fantasy. I think he's going to throw at least 1 interception and probably fumble it at least 1 time in this game, which of course takes points away from you in fantasy. He has the most turnovers out of any quarterback in the league this season. It has just not been good for Cutler and his turnovers. And they're playing Detroit. This is why. This matchup is absolutely tough for them. Detroit is 3rd overall in defense. They have a very tough front. They are 1st against the run, so Matt Forte is going to have a hard time getting going, I think. And they already have 26 sacks on the season. Keep in mind, Chicago's offensive line has been rotating because of injuries, so they haven't been quite as good as last year. And I think Detroit is going to get back there, cause havoc. I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure. They're going to get some sacks on him, some knockdowns. I just think it's going to be an ugly, ugly day for Chicago's offense and probably for Chicago as a whole. And, of course, they're playing Thanksgiving Day, so they're playing on a short week, and they're playing in Detroit. None of that makes this an easy matchup for Cutler. He is not going to get you a lot of fantasy points this week, so do not start him, especially if you need to win to get into your playoffs. So now we're going to move it on because Greg has his Beast Mode picks, of course, like always, from Vegas this time. So let's take it to Greg.
Hey everybody, Big Balls Fantasy Football here. It's Greg the Beast with your 3 Beast Mode picks this week. This week, coming from Vegas. Got the link there in the background. Got my Flamingo Hotel there in the background. So let's get to it. My first Beast Mode pick this week is Isaiah Crowell, running back on the Browns. He's a 2 balls pick this week. And that alarm in the background is going because he has been going off for the Browns. I know it's up against the Buffalo D next week, which is going to be a tough matchup, but you got to go with this guy. He got 20 fantasy points for me this last week. He has been going just completely insane. Yards per carry, he is averaging about 5.7. He got 2 touchdowns versus Atlanta in week 12, which, yeah, I know they have a weak run defense, but he has just been going crazy. I know Terrence West was supposed to be the guy that everybody was picking up off the waiver wire, but no. Boop, boop, boop. Alarm, alarm, alarm. That's right. Isaiah Crowell is the guy you should be going with. My second pick for you this week is Charles Johnson, wide receiver on the Vikings. He's a 3 balls pick. I'm picking on the Panthers defense again. I'm going with this guy because he is emerging as Terry Bridgewater's key receiving threat right now. I know everybody, and we were all on the Cordell Patterson bandwagon at the beginning of the season, but not anymore. And Greg Jennings is just too damn old. Check out these stats, everybody. My God. For Johnson, we have 9 receptions, 139 yards, and a touchdown in 2 games. Not bad for a young player. But here's why you have to go with him. 14 points in Week 11 and 16 in Week 12. So he is just streaking right now. You got to go with him because he's the hot hand over there on the Vikings. My third Beast Mode pick for you this week is a shocker. Yes, LeGarrette Blount over there. He's now a Patriot. He used to be over there on the Steelers, and they didn't really know what to do with him. Well, guess what? The former Oregonian player, he has found a new spot in Darth Vader's offense. That's right. He got 2 touchdowns last week in his debut week and just went completely insane. There's no way you can't put him in your lineup. I know Prost is sitting there and he's going to roll his eyes at this pick and go, this is a 1-week blunder. But here's the problem. You have Darth Vader. he knows how to plug players into his offense. And when the Steelers dropped LeGarrette Blount, he was just licking his chops, seeing this guy on the waiver wire. So, there's no reason not to put him in your lineup. You want to get him, and you want to get my last pick definitely into your lineup going into the playoffs, because I think that Blount's going to go on a streak. Stevan Ridley and all the other running backs, Shane Vereen and all them, I think their days are numbered, especially because Blount is going to be vulturing touchdowns. So those are my 3 Beast Mode picks for this week from Vegas. No, I'm not going to see Donnie and Marie. I'm going to go watch game number 2 over at the Rock House of the Monday night matchups here in Vegas.
Hey, Jenilee here from Big Balls Fantasy Football, and we are at Tinhorn. I have a very, very special guest with me this week. This is my mom. She's here all the way from Chicago visiting this week, and what can I say? Tinhorn's pretty much dead. We're in here booing. The fans at Soldier Field are booing because the Bears are sucking it against Tampa Bay. This is Lovie's return to Soldier Field. Right now, Tampa Bay is up 10-0 on the Bears. The Bears defense has looked like they have some fire in them. They've been carrying us in this game so far, but the offense gets on the field. They have no energy. They've had penalties. They've done nothing moving the ball. And it's just been bad all around for the Bears, so it's understandable why everyone here is frustrated and booing them. So I'm just going to give you some stats for fantasy, even though it's terrible. Color has 72 yards passing and no touchdowns. He hasn't thrown an interception yet. I'm pretty sure he probably will at some point today, but he does have a lost fumble, so that's not shocking. Forte has 16 rushing yards, which is absolutely ridiculous when you have a back that's that good. And my mom's going to help me out and give the stats on the wide receivers.
Marshall, 2 for 21, and Alshon, 1 for 4.
So the Bears have done absolutely nothing. On the other end, Tampa Bay has done okay. They have over 200 yards of offense. McCown has 173 yards passing, a touchdown, and an interception. So not super amazing, but those are pretty solid numbers there. And Vincent Jackson has 2 for 39 yards, and Mike Evans has 2 for 31, but he does have a touchdown for you in fantasy. So that's kind of what's going on at halftime. Doesn't look so good for the Bears, and we will see you after the game.
Hey everybody, Big Balls Fantasy Football here at the Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas. And football day started very early today, and I got to watch the Bears the very end of the game when I walked into the casino at the Flamingo where I am staying. I got to see the Bears pull it off, thank goodness. Congratulations on winning the Lovie Bowl. So then my day continued on with checking in at the Flamingo and hanging out at a restaurant there, Chuck and Charlie's or some crap or whatever. But they were cool and got to watch the Denver Broncos game and got to see Denver pull it off against, of all teams, Miami. Miami was challenging them for a while. And then after that, ended up here at the Hard Rock. Yep. Ended up over here to see Andrew Dice Clay. Yes, I am old. The beast is old. And I got to see Andrew Dice Clay rock the house. Most of the people were watching the rocking of Kiss in the big room at the Joint. I was watching Andrew Dice Clay rock the Comedy House over in Vinyl. And then I can show you a little bit of footage here. And that was heavy metal footage of the house band here that was playing. It was called The Big Rock Show. Go check them out. They are out of Nashville. So that's it. Day 1 in Vegas here at the Hard Rock. Enjoying my new iPhone 6 Plus. Have a great night, everybody. So, it's 27-17. Fair situation here at the Rock House, here in beautiful Venetian. $20 all you can drink during happy hour, which was from 6 to 9. You know how many of these I've drank? Quite a few. Hey everybody, Big Balls Fantasy Football. Vegas is a beautiful city. It's a great place to watch football. Have a good night, everybody, and good luck on your games.